This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you.
A chance encounter leads to a solo flight around the world. Barrington Irving on this edition of Conversations. He is the youngest person and the only African American to fly solo around the world. Aviation became a passion for the inner city kid from Miami, Florida, after a chance meeting with a commercial airline pilot. It wasn't enough to get a pilot's license. Barrington Irving wanted adventure and to make a difference. After completing his trip around the world in 2007, he focused on bringing real-life aviation experiences to young people. His nonprofit organization, Experience Aviation, teaches students about aviation and other math and science-related careers. Despite focusing much of his time on educating and motivating youth, Irving hasn't lost his sense of adventure. When a group of students built an airplane and needed a test pilot, they found one in Barrington Irving. Now safely planted on the ground, we're glad to have him on this edition of Conversations. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I want to hear the story about the kids building the airplane and you test flying it. But first, let me start. How did it all begin? Where did your love for aviation start?
I mean, quite honestly, I was a high school football star down in Miami, and football was what I had on my mind. At the time, our team was ranked 3rd in the nation, had a number of scholarship offers, and, I met this airline pilot. My parents had a small bookstore, small Bible bookstore, and this gentleman walks in dressed in his pilot's uniform and randomly says to me, "Hey, son, have you ever thought about becoming a pilot?" I looked at him crazy, and I told him I didn't think I was smart enough to do it. And then I asked him how much money he made. And after he answered that question, interest turned into passion, and I just fell in love with aviation. He taught me about an industry. I had the opportunity to sit in the cockpit of a Boeing 777, which was the aircraft he flew, and play with all the buttons. And I said to myself, you know what, I think I can do this. And my life's never been the same since that gentleman stepped into my life.
And he was, and you were, I should say, a teenager, obviously, at the time. Mm-hmm. So how quickly after that did you start training to become a pilot?
Well, and I'm sure you know, flight training is expensive. Yep. Of course, any student out there, if they have the financial means, you can start flight training at the age of 16, earn your license at 17. For me, I had to wait until I graduated high school, turned down the football scholarships, and then worked hard, working at a local grocery store, as well as cleaning pools, and I didn't know how to swim. I was just doing whatever, it took in order to pay for my flight training. I was also able to get some academic scholarships because Mom was always hard on me. She hated football, and she said the only way I could play was if I kept up my grades. And I'm just grateful that I was able to rebound on that in order to get other academic scholarships as well.
So when you started, so what kind of airplane did you start training in?
So I started training in a Cessna 152. Okay. It was actually interesting because I'm actually afraid of heights, but when you're flying a plane, it's the physics and all the math and science behind what you're doing. And going through that, I'll never forget early in my flight training experience, we did a maneuver that's called stalls. Right. Where you basically break the airflow over the wings and you recover and sustain flight. And I'll never forget, we were flying over the Everglades and I was training and got into a stall, but it was uncoordinated. And next thing you know, got into a spin and I just saw the Everglades spinning like this below me. And I said to myself, man, I don't know if flying is for me. And after about, a week or so of regaining back confidence and so forth, it's just flying. I mean, you're between heaven and earth. Yeah. I mean, you can't complain much.
Tell me about your first solo.
My first solo flight was interesting. I didn't know it was going to happen. So it was me and then my instructor in the plane off to my right-hand side. And he says to me, all right, keep the engine on. After we did some takeoffs and landings, told me to keep the engine on. And I said, okay, wondering what's going on. But, you listen to your instructor. And then I just see him open the door and walk out of the airplane. And he said, yeah, you're going to fly now. You're going to do a couple touch and goes, takeoffs and landings on your own. And I'll see you on the other side. I said, okay. And let me tell you about that experience when you're in control and that sense of accomplishment to not only fly a plane but do it safely and follow all the rules. Man, I was 18 years old at the time when that happened, and it was just such a confidence boost for me. And, you know, I go back to thinking about that freedom, you know, that I felt. And, you know, flying makes you really want to experience the world and see the world in a bunch of different ways. And I wouldn't be able to see the world if it wasn't for aviation. And I'm just grateful for my mentor giving me that opportunity, you know, in order to, for me to get out of the hood in a different way outside of sports.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, one of the things that you're doing right now is trying to help other kids get into aviation, math and science oriented. Tell me about your program.
Well, you know, when my mentor started to help me, one of the things he made me swear to was giving back. And I told him, I said, I don't have any money to give back, so how am I going to give back? And he said, no, give time, give knowledge, give experiences. And it's something that I've taken very seriously since he mentioned that to me. And I'm grateful how math and science changed my life. And there are a number of students out there who may not necessarily be the all-star athlete. They may not necessarily be the straight-A student in class, but they have potential to do things in math and science. And in this country, where we're 17th and 14th in those subjects, something has to be done in a drastic way to really start addressing this problem. And it's going to take a community in order to tackle it. You know, our kids don't have the necessary skills that those who employers are seeking, you know, for high-level jobs as it relates to technology and innovations and so forth. And, you know, foreigners who come to this country, yes, they get training and they get an education, but in most cases they're actually going back to their country to invest into their math and science, and, you know, subject areas to grow their own industry within that country. So I said to myself, you know, after flying around the world and seeing the attention I had from so many students and being offered jobs, I said, man, I have the eyes and ears of young people. You know, we had over 300,000 kids who blogged with me as I flew around the world back in 2007. And I said, you know what, this is what's meant for me. So I started, you know, I started a transition from being a pilot to becoming an educator, and then becoming an explorer, you know, now that I'm working with National Geographic. And I said, okay, how do I fuse all of these different things together to create something engaging for young people where they would want to pursue these careers in math, science, technology, and other areas? And it's been working. And to test a number of those things in Miami, such as having kids build a plane, and now preparing to do, you know, our classroom in the sky, which will have more so of a national and international impact. You know, that's what we need more of in this country.
Now, the kids built a plane as part of a program that you have called Build and Soar. Tell me about that.
So Build and Soar is a program where I said to myself, how do we give kids real life industry skills? And how do we create a tangible finish line for them, but still involve math and science? Well, what do I mean by that? When you build a plane, right, these students, their focus is to complete the aircraft. They're not worried about all the math they have to learn and all the physics and even reading, how to read a manual and all those. They're not worried about that. They're simply focused on the finish line, which is to build the aircraft. And I think we need more of that in our education system, where we're providing kids with empowering activities in order for them to realize their potential in the subject areas. So these were 60 kids from failing schools in Miami. I challenged them. They only had 10 weeks to build a kit aircraft. So all that came was just piles and piles of sheet metal. That's all that came. And they had to figure it out. I mean, some of those kids couldn't read a manual. Some of them couldn't point out a 1/16 of an inch on a ruler. But the success stories that we've learned from that. I mean, we had one young lady who couldn't show you a 1/16 of an inch on a ruler, and now she's on a full scholarship as a math major at Duke University.
Wow.
You know, so those are the type of things that occurred. We have another student who's now at the Air Force Academy, you know, and kids just need empowering experiences. It's just like when I sat in the cockpit of the Boeing 777. You know, my mentor didn't have a fancy presentation. I just had a chance to play with all the buttons in the aircraft, and I said to myself, you know what, I think I can do this. And how do you replicate those types of empowering experience for other kids from all types of different backgrounds, whether rich or poor? Because young people of today are just simply unmotivated. There's too much noise, too much distractions, and they're simply unmotivated. And how do you turn that into motivation? Right now, this year, which it actually started last year, our build and soar programs where we're having students build a car faster than a Ferrari, and we're actually planning to race a fighter jet with it this upcoming May. So, I mean, it's just honestly exciting to be able to challenge kids as young as 8 years old, to do some of these dynamic things. And, how do you take what's relevant in life and in industry, such as explaining a Porsche transaxle to a 8-year-old? How do you do that? We have to bring in a bicycle with gears and then start there and move on to other things in the process.
But it engages them more so than just looking in a textbook.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about things such as ratios, right? And these kids are working on cars, ratio has a whole new different meaning between RPM, revolutions per minute, and how much power the transaxle and the torque and everything. Now it's practical. Right. Now I can see it. Now I not only see it, but I see it working. I'm able to convert that into the language and understanding of what I'm being taught.
I noticed, too, a lot of the kids are getting hands-on experience in skill sets. So kind of expand on that a little bit, particularly as they were building the airplane.
What's interesting is, in this country, to find a real, true machinist,
it's difficult.
Those guys are almost extinct like dinosaurs. Yeah. To find thinkers. Not just someone who, okay, I've gone through this plant and factory training course. Well, what happens when you have a problem and you have to fabricate a solution? Right? That's what America was built on. Right. And we don't have that level of thinking anymore in a lot of cases. So how do we get our generation to think in that manner? And you have to simulate those types of experiences through projects.
Yeah. Once the kids built the airplane, so take it out the next day, or whenever it's finished, you take it out and you fly. What was that experience like? What was going through your mind?
Well, the original plan wasn't to fly the aircraft the students built.
Okay.
But, whenever you challenge any human being, they go through that first phase of being exciting and they're accomplishing stuff, and then they plateau off. And then, so our students were starting to plateau off because it was a lot. I mean, they were doing something in 10 weeks that it takes 1 year to 2 years to do very easily. So I said to them as an encouragement, I said, look, if you guys build this plane, I'll put my life on the line and fly it. But not just fly it, I'll actually fly it on its first flight. And that's all they needed, man. They had such a chip on their shoulder, and a lot of people didn't think they would have been able to do it. And they did it. And I must say this, though, when the runway disappeared after takeoff, Miami is a populated area, and you don't have many options as far as, for emergency landing. And before I took off, I told the kids, I said, man, if there's anything wrong, I'm pointing the plane straight at you guys, and we're all going out together. And but nevertheless, the plane flew well, not an issue. And I learned a lot from that experience, because I had students come back to me and they said, after I landed and we were celebrating, some of them said, this is the first thing I've ever completed in my life. So what do you mean? You put on your pants, you take out the trash, that's completing something. Yeah. They said, no, you don't understand. This is the first thing I've ever completed in my life. And that speaks to the power of empowering others, to do amazing things. And a lot of those students have gone on to do some very productive things in their lives.
Anybody can write a check, throw a little money at something. And kind of curious to get your input on this. Would we be better served as a society if maybe we wrote fewer checks and maybe spent more time, like you're talking, one-on-one, mentoring, volunteer, whatever? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. To do things related to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, it's expensive. Building a plane is expensive. Building a car is expensive. But when you do it in a constructive way, where there's an actual tangible finish line, not as if you're in a holding pattern and you're not really getting anywhere. You know, so it's like, oh, research, research, research.
Right.
We're researching. You're never going to get anywhere if you research so much. And I think if we invested more into programs with an actual finish line at the end for students, we'd have greater progress. We've spent so many dollars on defining what the problem is, and we haven't invested enough in trying to solve the problem. And of course, why not? Because that's the hard part.
That's right.
Everyone can throw rocks and say, oh, this is the problem in education, that's the problem with teachers, that's the problem with parents and students and so forth. But eventually someone has to stand up and say, all right, we know what the problems are, fine. We can live with that. That's fine. You know, let's start to do things in which we can actually give our young people skills, skill sets that's relevant to the workforce. I mean, we're in such a different phase of life where 10 years from now, you and I don't know what the top careers will be.
That's right.
We know they'll be in science and math. We don't know the names of them. We don't know the skill sets required. Those are the type of problems we need to start solving and defining so that students actually have a pathway of where they need to get to.
Because the pace of change right now is probably greater than it has ever been.
Yep.
And so it's hard to predict. You've got to give them skills and allow creativity to roll on. The flying classroom, what is it?
Well, so what we're doing is we're transforming a $5 million private jet. It's a small private jet that's sponsored by Hawker Beechcraft. And what this is going to do is allow us to communicate with any classroom anywhere in the world. And we're creating a real-life magic school bus. So we're going to travel to all 7 continents and conduct different expeditions around math and science and have students help me collect data, solve different problems and challenges, and even determine what path I take, what meals I eat in order to prepare for the challenge of the day and so forth. And they're able to teach kids a wide variety of subjects as it relates to real life matters and issues. You know, for example, population control. Right? Earth and its natural resources, the maximum amount of human beings it can support is 6 billion people. We're already at 7 billion people. How are we developing solutions for that? You know, you look at the math and science, for example, when we land and I attempt to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. The students determine the path, the type of equipment I use. We're talking about subject matter such as high altitude breathing. If I go diving somewhere, I can't just jump into an airplane and go flying.
Right.
I'll kill myself because of pressurization. You know, but that's real life. That has meaning. That directly points back to a child and said, this is the world you're growing up in. Here's how I can impact it. Here's how I can learn about it. So we have over 50 some odd experiences like that through the journey that these students will not only watch, but they'll actually help to determine the results. Because based on what they're voting on and also the subject matter that they're taking, man, I think it's a cool way to teach kids math and science where they're engaged and they feel empowered to actually determine the outcome.
How many students will be involved?
Well, originally the goal was to reach 1 million kids. That was the original goal. Thanks to having partners like National Geographic and NASA and other school systems and so forth that are working with us, we expect to reach at least 7 million kids.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a highly conservative number.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, it has to be an exciting adventure for you as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
personal.
I mean, I must say I'm a bit nervous. You know, when you say, okay, I'm going to have kids build my meal plans. I mean, I don't know what to expect. You know, and you know, I hope I don't have any allergies to anything. But you know, that's what kids need. Kids need to have a sense of belief. You know, that adults like me and others believe that they can solve these problems.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Take me back a little bit. Let's talk just a little bit about yourself because, I mean, it's pretty fascinating that you were able to fly around the world solo. What was that experience like?
Whew. I think the best way to sum it up is I grew a lot of hair on my chest flying solo around the world. I mean, quite honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I only had 640 flight hours. I was 23. You know, for 2.5 years, people rejected me. They told me, you know, this project would cost too much. It's a $1.2 million project. They said I didn't have the necessary skills, which on paper you would say that's absolutely correct. In addition to that, they were saying, oh, the coordination you'd have to have, you know, with various team members, flight planners, meteorologists, and all these different folks. But you know what? People stepped up to the table. And it didn't happen as fast as I expected it to. You know, I had to wait 2.5 years to get my first yes. And even figuring out what's the right aircraft and getting donated parts for the airplane. You know, because I knew once I got an airplane, people would believe this can be accomplished.
Right.
And no manufacturer wanted to take a chance on me. So what I did was I went after the equipment manufacturers who made the engine, who made the cockpit system, you know, who made the seats and all, got them to donate, which forced the aircraft manufacturer to build the aircraft. And it was a grueling journey. I mean, sandstorm over Saudi Arabia, wasn't prepared for that. Fortunate the sand didn't reach the turbochargers in my engine, and I was at 17,000 feet. Having no weather radar, no de-icing. Flying across the North Pacific, you know, I had airline pilots who were at higher altitudes. They were radioing down to me, asking me what was I doing down there, and they said, man, you have a major ice storm up ahead, turn back. I said, I don't have enough fuel to turn back. And they then started asking me for my parents' name and phone number, and they said, there's no way you're going to make it on the other side. And I said, all right, thanks, guys. You know, thanks for the support. But after climbing and descending so much, and that flight was about 10.5 hours, I was burning a lot of fuel climbing and descending in between the icing layers. And in the North Pacific, it's different. You know, you'd think, oh, the lower you go, the warmer it is. You know, it could be a totally different inversion. So I landed on Shemya, Alaska, an island only 1 mile long, 2 mile circumference, and had about 12 minutes of fuel left in my tank.
Wow.
And I imagine going through all of that, and you open the door, and they have a sign there that says it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from here. And I think that summed it up for me. Yeah, that summed it up.
Was weather the biggest challenge?
Absolutely. Weather is the biggest challenge. I mean, you know, we live here in the South. I'm based in Miami, and I mean, this is Thunderstorm Alley.
Absolutely.
And man, the storms we get are like peanuts compared to monsoons and other weather phenomenons, you know, in certain parts of Asia and Africa. And I learned so much from weather, especially when you don't have any weather radar. You become your own meteorologist. And I learned so much from that.
Were you concerned as you went to various parts of the world from a standpoint of entering airspace that would be unfriendly? And
oh, absolutely. I mean, there will be times where storms pop up and you'll see military airspace and it's clear on that side, but you know you can't fly through it. I mean, they have the option to shoot you out the sky if they choose to. And it's their rules, it's their country, and you have to respect that. You know, when I landed in Cairo, Egypt, I had to deal with hostility where guys, you know, I landed and these guys were dressed in flip-flop shorts and AK-47s pointed straight at my airplane. And, you know, I shut off my engine, I have my hands up in the air, and I'm, you know, trying to communicate back and forth. And, you know, I even pointed to my hand, the color of my skin. I'm like, I'm your brother, man. We don't have a problem. You know, it's just, it was tough. It was tough, but got through it.
what was the, as you look back on it, what's the biggest thing you took away from that?
Patience. Patience and our resilience. Those are the two biggest things because, man, I could have made some decisions that would have killed myself. And although a lot of things happen fast while you're flying and planning and everything, you have to be detail-oriented, you have to be patient, and you have to be willing to say no sometimes. You have to say, look, this is my limit as a pilot. This is as far as I can push, and I can't go on anymore.
You have to leave the ego at the door.
Yep.
I'm curious, what did your parents think when you told them you wanted to be a pilot?
Well, my parents first said, who's going to pay for your education? And I said, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out. And I actually did figure it out. My parents never had to pick up a dime to pay for my education. I worked very hard. And they're actually impressed. You know, they were impressed. I mean, being a pilot, I mean, here in the United States, it's perceived a little bit differently. But internationally, it's a very prestigious job. You know, and my father, I never knew this until I said I wanted to be a pilot. It was actually one of his dreams. to become a pilot. He didn't have the opportunity, but it was one of his dreams, and you know, they were supportive. Now, flying around the world was a bit different. You know, my mom found out through the media. Of course, this was before I left, a few months before I left, and she thought I was kidding, you know, when I was hinting to it. And when she saw the amount of support that was rallying behind me, man, that wasn't a good conversation any parent should have with their kid. But they're supportive.
Have you taken your mom up?
No, I've taken my dad up, and my mom refuses to
She won't
go
fly
on an
with
airplane. She will not fly with me.
Yeah. What'd your dad say when you took him up?
He said, man, he thought it was the coolest thing ever. You know, you could see him smiling like a kid. He thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Okay, now you have a lot of flight hours. You've done a lot of exciting things. Okay, I'll ask you this question just kind of on a personal basis. Are you ever out flying and you just say to yourself, man, I'm flying an airplane. This is cool.
Yeah, you know, last week, I just had the opportunity to do what's called air combat. And, man, you know, pulling 5, 6 Gs.
Yeah.
Flying is such a gift.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, how mankind struggled for thousands of years in dreaming about it and trying to make it happen. It's honestly a gift that, you know, in modern day we take for granted. But to be able, of course, when you're flying from a general aviation perspective and you're able to see below you and you're not like a mouse staring out a peephole.
Exactly.
You know, you have such a different appreciation for it. It's liberating. It's one of the few things I can do where I know I can clear my mind. Because when you fly, all you have to focus on is that flight.
That's right.
Nothing else going on in your life, just simply flying the airplane. And it's a great outlet for me.
I'm a pilot, so a lot of times people talk about, you know, that they would like to do it, they'd like to become it. What would your advice be to someone who wants to become a pilot?
I mean, anyone who wants to become a pilot, it's definitely not easy. It's something you have to work very hard for. It is an expensive hobby, but it's a rewarding one. You know, to be able to fly to some regions of the world, and even if you're just flying 100 miles north or south of here, you know, the world is totally different. You know, and it's a great way to discover the world. I tell kids all the time, it's definitely a passion that you have to have.
Yeah. Tremendous sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely.
When you do it. Barrington Irving, it was a real pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck
Glad
to you
be here.
in all of your career endeavors and all you're doing to help kids and students in math and science. Real quick, like, your website is?
experienceaviation.org. So anyone who wants to just encourage students or get involved in our flying classroom, go to experienceaviation.org. And that's what it's about. It's always great to speak to a fellow pilot.
You bet, my friend. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Barrington Irving joining us on this edition of Conversations. Certainly hope you enjoyed our broadcast. You can see more of our conversations online at WSRE.org/conversations. I'm Jeff Weeks. Thank you so very much for watching. Take great care of yourself. We'll see you soon.
Support for this program is provided in part by these corporate sponsors. And by viewers like you.